All right, we here. Welcome to another episode of Versus Mike History. I'm your host, Michael History. As always, we got some good people in the building. We got Jamar on the boards, and we have a special guest in the building. How about you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I am Yasmine. Oh my God, I don't know what else to say.
Okay. Yasmine here is the creator of a very popular wellness brand. How about you start with there?
Okay, you said very popular. I'm like, oh yeah. But yeah, so I am the CEO and founder of a wellness company called Transparent Black Girl. And I recently started a new component called Transparent Black Guy. And so we are just all about radical self-care and healing. And it's just something I'm really passionate about. And it's been almost 2 years since I got started, and it's grown a lot within this year. And I'm really grateful for all the growth. So yeah, it's a little bit about what I do.
Yeah, that's really awesome work you're doing.
Thank you.
What's your definition of wellness?
Well, for me, I think that honestly, wellness is multifaceted, and I think that wellness, like Black people, is multifaceted, and it should be. And so I feel like it should be free to take on as many forms as it sees fit. So I feel like wellness is, for me, whatever I needed to be at the time. So wellness for me is therapy. It's hanging out with my friends. It's healing from trauma. It's me owning every part of who I am. It's thirst traps. It's all of those. True. All of those things. And so my platform is reflective of that. And so I think that that's why we've had such a big I guess jump in our growth. As far as like on our Instagram platform, we went from I want to say 500 followers to almost 21K in less than a year. And so that's just insane. Been, thank you. And so that's just been as a result of just me being open and honest with my followers, and just being transparent about the journey of Transparent Black Girl, and just through the events and the just one-on-one connections that we've had. So for me, I think that I feel like in terms of wellness, just the things that I was seeing from different platforms, I felt like that if you weren't seeing a whole bunch of leaves and plants and trees and, like hashtag self-care and like yoga poses and shit like that, then like there really wasn't a conversation about wellness. But I feel like wellness is a lot of things. And so I felt like I wanted to create a space where like we could just be honest about that. And so I'm really grateful for just the way people have responded to it, because I did not think that it would go as well as it's been going. So I'm really appreciative of it, and I'm proud of the growth and just how it's just turned into this thing that's just much bigger than me or anything I could have planned.
That sounds so great. So for the listeners, me and Yaz, we went to college together.
We did.
We both were on the e-board of the Black Student Union at our respective college. Shout out Montclair State University.
Word.
And I just want to know, what was your headspace when you first founded the company?
Honestly, my headspace, like all of this was really organic. It was never like a plan for me to even create a company. Honestly, I had started blogging my last year of college, and just people had just resonated with my writing in a way that I didn't anticipate also. And so I just kept on getting comments of people saying like, I love how you're so transparent. I love how you're so transparent. It was just something I kept hearing. And so I was like, okay, like as much as I appreciated that, I felt like there were so many women on social media that were inspiring me to be transparent. Mm-hmm. And I just like wanted to create a space to honor them and to encourage other women to want to be transparent as well. And so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just make like a appreciation page. Like I really just thought it would be just that. I had no plans for it to be a company. But the followers in the community were like, okay, so when are you gonna start having events? And I was like, wait, what? Like, so that wasn't a part of the plan. So I started to have events, and from there they were like, okay, well, like when you having another one? And I started to like have like events with all different types of themes. Like I had a wine tasting, I had a yoga event, and then I had an event for like healing from trauma. And that honestly, that wasn't a successful event. That was like an event that I like had spent a lot of money on, and that I was like kind of in the hole with. So I was like, okay, they don't want to talk about healing. They don't want to talk about, wellness at all. And then like afterwards, like after the event, so many people had found out about it, I guess, from like the social media and people reaching out, that I got like an overwhelming amount of, when are you having another healing event? When are you having another healing event? And just the people that came reaching out to me saying how grateful they were for it. And so it was kind of like, after it happened, like a wave of people had started to come in and say like, okay, this is like what we want. And so when I realized that, that they really weren't interested in anything else, I was like, okay, so like maybe they do want this, maybe they do want to heal. And
Right.
after that, I just kind of just said, okay, well, like, I'm going to have one more event and see how it goes for wellness. And so I had an event called R&B Yoga, which was just like a celebration of like body positivity and yoga also, and just like body movement. And it went really well. And so after that, I decided, okay, like this is definitely what my community wants to do. They're excited about the mental health content. They're excited about wellness and what wellness means for Black people, just because I feel like the representation of Black people in wellness is like a very small box. And
Right.
so I felt like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And once we, I guess, totally rebranded as a wellness company, like the following just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I guess for me, that just made me realize that this was what it was made for. And from there, we just had just an overwhelming amount of people that were just really excited and were sharing their stories and just wanted to know what was next for Transparent Black Girl.
It's interesting that you frame it that way, because usually when you're getting started, it's always the community that like is giving you that pushback, like, yo, when's the next project? When's the next thing? This and that. And then it kickstarts the big project.
Yeah.
Or the purpose of what you set out to do in the first place. And most times it gives you new purpose. Which leads me to ask you how your community has affected your experience in wellness.
My community has affected my experience in wellness so much. It's definitely challenged me, and it's made me just even more so reflective of my own personal journey, and just being aware of the fact that like there are now thousands of people watching this platform and how we're moving and how we're healing and the type of content that we're creating. And so for me, it's definitely an honor, but there's also a sense of responsibility that comes along with it. Because I feel like there are some people that have, social media platforms that grow, but they don't do shit with them, and they just post. And so for me, I was just like, if I'm going to have over 20,000 people following me, engaging with me, I'm going to make sure that they heal. I'm going to make sure that they, become their best selves, and that we don't just look like our best selves, because I feel like physical wellness is just one component. Like you can be working out every day, but not addressing your trauma, and you're still just as unhealthy as you were before. And so I wanted it to be a full experience, but I also wanted it to be a space where, we could like, again, be free to be ourselves. And so even with our R&B yoga event, having a yoga event with R&B music, with neo soul music, that was important for me, because I felt like when I would go to yoga spaces with just white women, it was very serious. It was like music that I couldn't resonate with at all. Yeah, all of that. And I was just like, nah, like it's just not how I choose to, and like, and if it works for you, cool. But like, that just wasn't what I felt like I connected with. And when I was home doing yoga, I was doing yoga to Anita Baker and Sade, and like that's how I felt comfortable. And so I wanted to create that same experience, and I did. And we felt comfortable, and we laughed and we talked during yoga. And so it was just something that was for us. And I was just like, that's what it should be. It should be an opportunity for you to heal yourself, but to also have open and honest dialogue. And I feel like that can only happen in spaces that are, created for and by us. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just inspired me to continue to honestly just keep that same energy with all of my events, with everything that I'm trying to do. And it also inspired me to understand that like this work was beyond myself, and it was even beyond Black women, which is why Transparent Black Guy became a thing, because I feel like we can't heal and go to therapy and expect to go home to our brothers, cousins, partners, and expect for them to like, be healed also when they're being left out of that work, And so I just kind of felt like, okay, well, if I'm going to really do this, then I need to include these same men that we want to hold accountable, because if there's nobody teaching them how to heal themselves, then I feel like we can only complain but so much if we're not willing to like, you know, heal ourselves and, you know, heal with Black men in the process. And so it was just really important to me to start Transparent Black Guy. And so it's just, like I said, it's just been a mirror for me. And I think that in the beginning, as excited as I was about healing myself and healing other Black women, I feel like on some level that was very selfish, because at the same time you're completely leaving out a whole part of your race, and I just didn't feel good about that anymore. And I wanted the Black men in my life to come to my events and feel comfortable, but they were like, it's nothing but women here. Like,
Right.
you know, so they would come, but, you know, they would stay in the back or they would come and help set up and they would be out of there. And I would be like, no, I want you to stay. But like, I also had to realize like there was no space for them in that space. And so in order to have them want to be excited about wellness and healing and talking about therapy, then they needed a safe space for themselves. And so that's how Transparent Black Guy came into play. And I'm really excited for that and the growth that's even going on with that. And I hope it becomes as big as Transparent Black Girl does.
I hope so too.
Thank you.
You spoke about the fast growth of the brand. How fast did it grow?
I want to say maybe, I don't even think I had 1,000 followers at the beginning of this year, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't even think I did. And I remember I posted a meme of Beyonce. And so like, I'm a huge Beyonce fan. I love Beyonce. So no Beyonce slander will be tolerated.
No, you won't get it from me.
But yeah, so I had posted a meme of Beyonce, and I just been seeing like all these like negative memes. It was like her like laying on the Adidas sneakers when she announced her new line.
Right.
And somebody had posted like a negative meme, and it was like me, my stress, my bills, my anxiety, like all this like crazy shit. And I was just like, that's what y'all want floating around on the internet. And so for me, I just decided to make a positive one. I was just like, you know, me, my therapist, consistent men, like just a whole bunch of, you know, a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to like manifest for myself. And from there, I woke up the next morning and I think I had like 1,500 followers. And I was like, what is going on? Like people like really love this meme. And so from there, I made another meme and another meme. And like, I just got really consistent with content. But I made sure like, okay, because I never wanted to be just a meme account. But I also wanted to make sure that like, if memes were going to be what we were known for outside of our events, that they were going to continue to be positive and that they were going to be, you know, if they were going to go viral, I would want them to go viral to just motivate people. And so I just continued to make them, and I just made, I made them everything that I've ever wanted to manifest, honestly. And every time I post a meme, my following jumps like crazy. And so it's been a really cool thing to see. And so just to get messages from people saying like, every time I go on social media, I see somebody reposting one of your memes. Like it's always on an IG story. I'm always seeing Transparent Black Girl everywhere. Like, you know, you're doing great. And so it definitely was a cool thing. But again, there was also that responsibility of like, okay, so if I'm going to have content that's going to consistently go viral, I need to make sure that this content is positive and that people feel better about their lives and the things that they want to do with them when they see this content.
What would you say that the growth of your brand over a short period of time has had? What impact has that had on your decision making?
It's definitely made me want to get a better hold of like my schedule and being responsible. Just because I currently don't have a social media manager. So it's just been me controlling the content. And so controlling the content, being in grad school, running my own platform, outside of all of this, I'm a writer. So writing for other companies. So just trying to have all of that balance and what that looks like. It's just made me just want to do better with scheduling and making sure that I'm showing up for myself first before I show up for anything else. Because I can't be talking about wellness if I'm waking up and not working out, not going to therapy, not making sure I'm good first before I go and create content for thousands of people to feel good. So it's just been honestly, I would say the biggest thing that I've learned and that I'm continuing to learn is time management, because platforms and growing them and Instagram and you know, you have to be consistent. And so posting multiple times a day, like that takes planning. And so content planning is like a real thing.
And figuring out which time of the day.
Exactly. Figuring out which time of the day and things like that. And honestly, I don't really go. Yeah, it is. I don't really go too crazy with the times of the day. I try not to post too early or too late. That's about as far as I'm going with stuff. I try not to overwhelm myself with that part of the, I guess, part of that process. But I try to always create meaningful content that I feel will resonate with my followers, and that resonates with me, because if I don't believe in it, I don't post it. And I think that a lot of people on social media are posting things that they don't believe in just to get likes, just to get clout, and like
Right.
I never want to get to a place where I do that. So I just really just try to keep it organic to me and the things that I believe in.
What would you say? How do you deal with failure in terms of running a wellness brand? Because like, there's always gonna be ups and downs, but specifically dealing with a brand where you're promoting positivity on a regular basis, like I'm sure it kind of like it kind of goes like back on it kind of it's like you're battling the very thing that you're trying to promote. You know what I mean? Like, and I know it gets frustrating. So just speak on like the downfalls of running a brand, and especially a brand that like promotes positivity.
Well, I'd say number one, the people that comment saying like, well, wellness isn't just for Black people, or like, why is your platform just for Black people? You should include all women. You should include all women of color. You should do this. You should do that. Like telling me what I should be doing. And so for me, I think that's the first thing that's frustrating. Was having people say to me like, well, at some point, are you going to do things for people that aren't Black? And I'm like, no. I do everything that I do for Black people, and I'm very unapologetic with that. I would say for my personal brand, the only thing that I guess that I do for everyone is body positivity, just because for me, like I feel like that's just such a it's a thing that affects so many people. But in general, I do everything that I do for Black people first. And if you feel inspired, then cool. I appreciate that, but like we need healing, and it's not my responsibility to take care of anyone else. It's my responsibility to take care of our people. So I definitely would say the DMs that I often get, I don't really get them much anymore, but like as the following first started to grow, people would, leave really nasty comments or DMs, and, say things about how like I wasn't helping all women, or I wasn't helping all people. And, it was like reverse racism, just crazy shit. And for me, ultimately, you just bored, shit. Like hiding behind, accounts with 2 or 3 followers saying all types of dumb shit. But honestly, I'm at a point where like that I could care less about. But I would say failure, as far as anything else, I don't know. I mean, honestly, my following has been so supportive, and my last few events have just had an overwhelming amount of support. But I would just say, like, at times if I have a goal and I don't sell as much merch, or enough people don't like a post that I really put a lot of effort into, those can sometimes be discouraging. Or like how I feel that like my memes will get hella likes, because that's what my following is used to.
Right.
So like if I try to switch it up at times and have a post that like isn't a meme, it won't get that much attention. And so I think those are, I guess, things that'll, frustrate me a little bit. But I wouldn't say I feel like I'm failing. It's for me, it's just a mental note, and things that I just have to have conversations with myself about, just about being strategic and making sure that I'm, showing all different kinds of content, and that I'm remembering that, when I don't sell, as much merch as I want to that day, I'm not forgetting, at my last event that I sold almost $1,000 in merch. So
Crazy.
just thinking about those things and just not giving up. I definitely worry, like, in the future, as far as like what Transparent Black Guy will look like. Will Black men really support as much as Black women have supported Transparent Black Girl? Do Black men want to heal? Do they want to go to therapy? Do they want to help themselves? Do they want to hold themselves accountable, which is a whole other conversation. So I think those are the things that I guess I worry about. But outside of that, this journey has just been again, so organic that I haven't even had time to worry about failure, because the following has just gotten bigger. And if anything, I've just had to like grow with it and understand that like I can't do this by myself. And so just like now being in the process of like getting a team together and like figuring out for 2020, like for our next events. And so if anything, I worry about days where I don't feel like I want to do any of this. Like there are days when I just want to just sit in my house and forget that I own a business and I'm in grad school and just be a regular person and just watch hella TV, you know, like I haven't been on Netflix in months. So, you know, I think those are the times that I get a little frustrated, but in general, I don't worry about failure. I think that, the space that I was in before wellness and like just battling, you know, depression, anxiety, all those things. And I think just overcoming them, it's just given me, I guess just a new amount of strength where I'm like, if I got through all that shit, this social media platform in this company, like it's going to be good because I'm good.
Yeah. How would you say, how responsible do you feel to align your brand with people who have studied and practiced wellness professionally versus people who simply preach their piece?
I'm a little bit in the middle because for me, I feel like you don't have, like, I don't have a wellness license, like, you know what I mean? Like if that's even a thing. And I also feel like, again, because our people haven't had as many opportunities to heal and to explore wellness, like this space is not for people who are like wellness professionals. This space is for people who are on the journey to wellness and are wondering what that looks like and that fall short and make mistakes and that want to be their best selves. Now, as far as our events go, I definitely do bring professionals in, but I bring professionals in whose stories resonate with me. Like if I don't give a fuck if you're a trainer, like, you know, tell me about your journey and what got you to that place. Or like, you know, or if you're a healer, like it's hella niggas is like, can I curse? Like I feel like I didn't ask that, but like it's hella niggas out here that are healers and you know practitioners and all that shit. But like I care about your journey. So for my event, Healing from Trauma, I brought in one of my friends who healed herself from an autoimmune disease, and so for me, she did not have any license and she's not a doctor, but she woke up one morning and half her hair was missing, and she started a cleanse, and she healed herself and her hair grew back and all of the, you know, ailments that she was experiencing went away within a month. And so that to me was inspiring. So I didn't care about her credentials. I didn't care about what she had or didn't have. And I brought her on and she helped thousands of people on her platform heal. And so I brought her to my first event. And the connections that she made with people there, that to me was what was important. Not, you know, her journey, not her license. But I'm not opposed to having people, you know, of all, I guess, walks of wellness life come, you know, to my events and come help people. So I don't have an issue with that. But I think for me, it's about who you are and what you do and why you're coming here. You know, like, are you coming here because you really give a fuck about Black people? Or are you coming here because you want to check, you know, like, so I think that's where I am, and just wanting to know that the people that I have helping my followers, that they are like-minded and that they really believe in this work and that they understand that everyone is not going to get it right away. You know, like my yoga instructor, she was very patient with everyone there. And that was important to me because some people there had never done yoga before. And in some yoga settings, yoga is very serious and either you get it or you don't. And there's a constant correction of people, you know, in the yoga sessions. And even, what I appreciated about her was she said in the beginning, you know, if you want me to correct you while you're posing, let me know. If not, I won't touch you. You know, like I'll let you, you know, just do your thing and be to yourself. And she constantly reminded everyone there that, you know, there is no such thing as a yogi. Like if you're breathing, you're doing yoga. And so like that was just important to me. And that was an experience that I had never had in a yoga session anywhere outside of the space that I created. And so for me, it's about your energy and your spirit and what you're bringing and why you want to be in the space. So I would like to have a balance because I know that there are different forms of wellness that I haven't even been exposed to yet. Just as far as like sound bath healing and like, you know, meditation and just different things like that that I'm interested in. So I definitely want someone who has experience. But I don't necessarily need, you know, someone who has like 20 years experience, you know, as far as someone to come. But yeah, I mean, I'm good with a balance.
So have you crossed paths with people who are just in it for the check or for the clout? Like, and how do you deal with those?
I get a lot of DMs. I get a lot of DMs for people wanting to come on for events, and so I filter out and just get to know people and just make decisions from there. But yeah, definitely. But I've also come in contact with people who really want to help and that really do great work. I just came in contact with someone who helps like with like reproductive medicine for Black women, and just like having just so many conversations about like the statistics of Black women and infertility and fibroids and things like that, which is definitely something that in 2020 I want to have a really just impactful event for, just because I feel like there's so many Black women who experience issues with their period and they think it's normal, and there's nothing normal about it. So that's something that I've really been passionate about. And so I've talked to OBGYNs, but I've also talked to women that have had years of experience with horrible doctors, who just did work for themselves. And so that's why I feel like it's important to have a balance, because just because you're a doctor doesn't mean that you know what's best for every person. Every person is different. Every body is different.
Absolutely.
So just for me, I definitely filter out and then just make decisions based on, what I get from you, the research I've done, the people I've asked, because the world is real small. Everybody know everybody.
Facts.
So yeah, just figuring it out like that, because I feel like for me, Transparent Black Girl is my baby. And so you wouldn't just let your kid around anybody, you're going to vet them out. You're going to make sure they straight. So yeah, I'm just trying to find a balance with that. But yeah, I definitely get all types of DMs every day, and I don't have the time to respond to all of them, but I try.
I want to kind of pivot back to Transparent Black Guy.
Okay.
Because when I reached out, I actually didn't even know that you had extended your brand.
Wow. Okay.
To that point in the platform, and I thought it was interesting because there aren't I know a lot of people who like have brands that promote women empowerment and stuff like that, and I love all of them, but I don't see that from men a lot. And not only do I not see that from men, I'll see women promoting brands for men, and I don't see men promoting brands for men. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, how is that void created, and why is it only taking the women? Like, why is it taking the women?
So, like, why aren't men doing it?
Yeah, like,
I mean, that's a good question.
It's weird. Like, I think it's a little awkward, and I just want to get your perspective on that.
I mean, I do think it's awkward, and I also felt like for a long time, well, like, I can't do this because I'm not a Black man, so I can't tell Black men how to heal and how to get themselves together. I can tell them what we want, but like, I can't force them or make them feel like this space is safe. So I reached out to Black men that I knew wanted to start platforms, but just didn't have the time, weren't consistent enough, or just were, I guess, afraid in a sense. And so I just had like really honest conversations with them. And I was just like, okay, will you help me? Is this something you think I should do? Do you feel like this is wrong? Because again, like, I'm a Black woman, but I don't know shit about being a Black man. Like, that's not my space. Yeah. So I was very intentional about creating Transparent Black Guy, and I had a lot of reservations for a long time because I felt like, well, I don't want them to be like, is a woman running this shit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and not wanting to be there. But I also felt like, again, just making sure that I had Black men in charge and just but also having them understand my vision and understanding that transparency was the goal. And so whatever transparency looks like for y'all, cool, but like we not gonna be transparent as fuck with Transparent Black Girl and Transparent Black Guy. Y'all talking about what the fuck y'all want to talk about. Like, like we gonna talk about everything. And so for me, like, that was just important to make sure that they had a space that at some point I will back off of altogether and just let Black men run it with the understanding of like what Transparent and Black as a collective desires and our missions and values. But in general, that's not a space that I desire to control by any means. But I did feel like, well, if y'all ain't gonna start it, then who the fuck is going, like, you know what I mean? Like, then like, who's gonna do it? And it's interesting now, just like being in this space, seeing so many like Black men respond well and be excited and reach out to me like, yo, do you need an intern? Do you need a social media manager? Just asking me the help that I need. The models that I had for my shoot to launch Transparent Black Guy, how excited they were, and they were like, whatever you need, like, we don't just want to model for you, we want to help you build the brand. Like, so I definitely have I wouldn't say a plethora of Black men, but like I at least a dozen, you know, that are excited and that are, you know, helpful and are ready to do the work. So that's definitely a goal that I have for 2020, to make sure that Transparent Black Guy has a solid team and that Black men really understand that this space is not only theirs, but it's a space where their healing is the priority. Because I never want to make them feel like I'm controlling the content. Or that I'm controlling the space. Like, even like for the events for Transparent Black Guy, to be honest with you, outside of making sure the logistics are good, I don't even want to be there. Cause it's not my space, you know, like, I definitely want to let them know that I'm appreciative of the help and them wanting to come out. But the same way that there are no men in the space for Transparent Black Girl, there won't be any women in the space for Transparent Black Guy, unless that's something that, like, down the line, I feel like we were all like ready for, as far as like having like a wellness retreat with, like, you know, both components together.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, so that's definitely the goal, like, long term. But I feel like y'all are much more vulnerable with each other than y'all are with us in terms of like having those real conversations. I feel on occasion, like, and it's like
debatable.
I think I disagree with that.
You think so?
It's definitely debatable.
I mean, and again, so I'm not like, and again, I'm open to like conversation in general, even with you guys, like, as far as like, you know, your input. I've just been talking to honestly, every Black man that I come in contact with, just about like what they think. But I also feel like I don't want us to like overpower the space and it be a space where y'all feel like y'all can't be vulnerable because we are telling y'all what to do or telling y'all how to heal, you know? And so I'm just trying to find a balance with it. Because again, if I'm saying it's a safe space, I feel like we also shouldn't be all up in your space telling you how to go about your wellness journey. So I'm just, you know, trying to find a balance and make sure that I'm working with Black men as far as, you know, the host and the social media managers and even like the video content that I'm getting ready to start up for Black men, like, and just having a space where like y'all can just, you know, be honest with each other and learn to be more vulnerable. Because I feel like that's some shit that like y'all just weren't taught, you know, like y'all are taught to be strong and not cry and go to work. Like, that's about it. Like, you know,
that's right.
And that's great. But like, that's the bare minimum, you know, and like, we can't be, you know, healing from trauma and going to therapy and then coming home and y'all just still doing the same shit.
Word.
Like, that's just not, it's just not going to work. And I just feel like in order for us to heal together, we both need to like be adamant about like this wellness work. And I feel like, again, there aren't many spaces for Black men, and so because of that, I'm like, okay, well, if y'all ain't gonna do this shit, then I will, and I'll get the Black men together and I'll make sure that they're good. And for me, I just feel like my goal for Transparent Black Guy is for it to be everything that I wish my father had when he was growing up. And I feel like if he was taught to be vulnerable and if he was taught to love himself and he was taught to be honest about his experiences, then he would have had a much better life. And I feel like he can continue to have a much better life. But there's a missing, like, there's a missing link. Even like just in conversations with him, I had asked him, like, you know, do you think you like should go to therapy? And he was like, yeah, I could use some couch time. But like, that was it. Like, he admitted that he needed to go. And I feel like for him, he thought that was like his, you know, that was enough. Like, okay, well, yeah, I know I need to be there. But like, okay, when you gonna start, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy that you say that too, because a lot of times when therapy is brought up in conversation with Black men, they don't even want to do it. Yeah. So the fact that he admitted that he would be willing to, but hasn't taken the steps forward is progress. Yeah. What's your relationship with him?
We're good. I mean, we definitely have had a struggle as far as our relationship, but I mean, but who hasn't had a struggle with it? Yeah. Like, you know, but for me, I think that I've just got into a space within myself with my dad and just my parents and people in general, that I feel like our parents are just people who produce other people. And I feel like we can almost like get to a space where we feel like they were just created to like be our parents and like be the best for us. And like that sort of thinking is selfish as fuck.
Nah, they're just winging it.
Yeah, like they're just winging it. Like, you know, and so for me, I definitely had a lot of, I guess, like frustration with my dad growing up. He was really critical of me, of my weight, of what he thought I should be and do. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized he was super critical, because like he was battling an eating disorder. And he hated himself because his father was extremely critical of him. And so he felt like his criticism was like love and like preparing me for what he thought my life would be like if I didn't do something about my weight. And so for me, it didn't really hit me until I was like maybe like 2021, how much he was really struggling, and how like he had never really had tried to do anything to hurt me. He just thought that like what he was telling me was love and it was protection. And once I started to realize how much he had experienced, how much my grandfather had not been there for him, how no one ever taught him how to be a man, how no one ever taught him how to be faithful, I just started to have so much more compassion for him than anything. And so when I feel like he's not showing up for me, instead of being angry with him, I ask myself, how am I not showing up for myself? And when I feel like he's being selfish, I ask myself, when is the last time I've been selfish to somebody that I love, you know? And I've just really just tried to focus now on inner work and just love my dad for who he is versus demanding him to be all of these things that like he never signed up for. Like all he ever signed up for was to be with my mother, and that resulted in a child, you know? And so for me, I just feel like expecting him to be like the dads that we saw on TV is never going to happen. And it doesn't have to. I feel like I should just be grateful for the relationship that we have and love him for who he is as he continues to work on himself. And that's just been a big part for me of just like maturing. And again, just understanding again, like our parents are people. And, you know, there was no rule book, and my dad had me at 25. Like, I know I would have been a shitty parent at 25, you know, like, and so just that understanding and just wanting him to live his best life.
Right.
And at this point, I'm like, I want us to be cool. And if I have to help him heal in order for us to be in a better place, in order for him to be in a better place, then that's just what I'm going to do, you know? So we're good. But I definitely think that now I don't expect things from him anymore. Now I'm just more so like, I want to make sure that he has a good life, and that anything he ever didn't give me, I just want to focus on making sure I give that to myself. Because I feel like in any situation, especially with your parents, anytime you look for them to fill voids in you, it's very dangerous because like it's not up for anyone else to do the work for you and help you heal. And I feel like especially when you're in a place where you've done like a lot of self-work, like I've been in therapy for almost 4 years now. And so for me to expect my, you know, level of self-growth and the things that I've experienced, for me to expect my dad, who's never been to therapy, who's never like you understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel like anytime you look for someone who is not as evolved as you are to like meet you where you are to help you heal, like that's just, you inflict self-pain every time you expect for that to happen. And so for me, I just realized that I'm just in a different place than him. And it doesn't mean that it's a judgmental space. It's just a space where you understand that like there's no help there. There's only help that you can give. Like it's almost like you working out and you like on your fitness shit and you've been working out for like 6 years and you meet someone who's only been working out for 3 months.
Right.
And you're not gonna go ask them for help on how to get your weight up. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're coming to you for that. And so for me, I think that's just where I am, where I love him and I appreciate him for who he is. But I don't expect for him to respond like I respond to things because that's just irrational. And when he falls short, I am okay with it because I fall short all the time, you know? And so I'm just in a space where I'm grateful that we're not in a bad space anymore, but I also am not like the little girl that I once was waiting for him to be like this like television dad. And I'm just good with where we are and excited for him just healing himself even the more so we can be even better.
I think that one of the bittersweet things about getting older when it comes to our parents is that our expectations of them get lower. Yeah. But our love grows because
absolutely.
they're getting older. So you know you wanna develop that relationship. So it's funny just thinking about it because it really it's like when I was younger, me and my mom used to butt heads like a lot all the time. I think it's mainly because I reminded her of my dad. But you know, as we get older, it's like, Mom, I'm not about to sit here and argue with you. Like, I'm not a screaming match for what? Like we both adults. Like, we can resolve this. Whatever we're going through without screaming at each other, without yelling, without being emotional. And you know, it's just funny because just looking at your parent as a human being and realizing that they go through all of the shit that they go through and they went through it without keeping you in the loop about it. And like they just had to, and you know, and if it's a single parent, shit, like who they talking to?
Right.
Some, yeah, you don't know who they talking to,
Exactly.
like some random nigga or female coming in and out the house or whatever, like or maybe just no one.
Yeah.
And they didn't have social media to just like vent.
Yeah.
That's why they use it so weirdly.
Yeah. No, for real. Like
overshare.
Yeah, like my dad actually he's like a ghost follower. He don't post nothing, but he's always watching. He's always looking like.
Yeah.
And then I get to his house and he got all these questions about the stuff I post.
Right.
Like, but yeah, I definitely think that you know, as we get older, the expectations get lower, but the love grows. And for me, I've just been in a space with my dad where my love is growing for him as a person, but like also as a man, and just even the things that he did teach me, and in spite of all of the things that happened. I had a beautiful relationship with my grandfather, and I didn't experience or discover that he was a horrible father until he died. Like my dad let me have that relationship with him, even though he was a horrible father. Like when I say horrible, I mean horrible. Like my dad suffered from an eating disorder because my grandfather was very thin. My father was not. And my grandpa would like, you know, run him over with a car while he was running if he wasn't running fast enough to lose weight. Yeah, like my grandfather, he was vicious.
It's crazy.
But my dad never let me see that. He never spoke anything bad about him, and he let us have a beautiful relationship, and he let me bury him thinking he was this perfect person.
Right.
And so when I found out that he wasn't, I was devastated, but I also looked at it like, wow, you love me that much that you wanted me to have that with him, even though you didn't.
Did he hate him?
Yeah, he did.
He
hated him, and I loved him so much. Like I still love him so much. And so for me, to know that, number one, he let me have that relationship, because he could have been like, fuck you. Like, I'm not ever letting you near my kid, you know, and he let us be close. He let us always spend time together. And he let me think that he was all of those wonderful things. And I feel like people can be both, and that like sometimes our parents, they you know, they become different people. Like we become different people. Like it all depends on, you could talk to somebody that knew me 5 years ago and they can have a whole different perspective of who I am now. You know?
Probably should, honestly.
So yeah, so I definitely feel like he let me have that. And then I just also think about just the way he still managed to make time for me. You know, my father has 6 kids now, but when I was born, it was just me. And so even the fact that he's still been able to make time for me, and how he, you know, would make a really big deal of my birthday every year. And I thought that was just because that's just what he did, but nobody ever celebrated his birthday when he was a kid. So he made it a conscious effort to like make me feel like my birthday was a national holiday, to where like now with men, you don't like my birthday a big deal? Like I'm canceling you. I'm canceling you, because like that's what I'm used to, you know? So I look at things now, and I just appreciate the things that he did do right versus all the shit that he did wrong. Because I feel like that's just a waste of time. And then just like you said with the expectations, like my mom and I are really close. And so for a long time, I wanted my dad and I to be as close as my mom and I were. And I was just like, why am I trying to duplicate this shit? Like maybe God gave me the mother he gave me.
For what it is.
Exactly. Maybe he gave me the mother that he gave me the mom that he gave me, because he knew the struggles I would have with my dad. So all the while I'm like holding up this measuring stick for him of what my mom is, and he's failing every time because he's not my mother. He's never going to be her, you know? And so I think that once I adjusted my expectations and I understood that this is the father that I have, and I definitely wouldn't want any other one, because I feel like I wouldn't be as adamant about healing as I am if I did not have such a fucked up father, you know? And so I definitely feel like it's just been a necessary journey, and everything that I've experienced as a result of the things that were good about him that weren't, but you know, good about him, it helped me be the person that I am. And so if anything, I'm grateful, and I'm appreciative, and he doesn't always understand the things that I do as far as social media and body positivity, but I know he's proud, and like we've definitely had conversations where he said, you know, I'm really proud of how you turned out. You turned out great. But then he also said, like, but I can only imagine how great you would have turned out if it weren't for me and like the issues. And so I even appreciated that there was an accountability for his mental illness and just the space that he was in. But I just honestly, like you said, the older I get, the more I just focus on the love.
Right.
Just because anything else is just wasted energy.
Well, thank you for your moment of transparency.
You're welcome.
It looks like you have a lot on your plate for 2020.
Yeah.
We're all gearing up to do it big. I feel the good energy is being spread right now. You said that you want to build up your team for both transparent black girl and transparent black guy.
Yeah, definitely.
It's insane that you have that. The transparent black girl platform has 20,000 followers, and you're still running that by yourself.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Social media
on the success of that.
It's no joke.
Yeah, and just speak about like some upcoming events or what plans do you have?
Well, 2020.
What's on the docket?
We definitely have a big event coming that I can't talk about yet. But I'm definitely gonna announce it soon. Transparent Black Girl will be 2 in March, so I'm definitely gonna have a really big event for the spring that I'm really excited about. I'm definitely gonna have an event for Transparent Black Guy as well coming up in the spring, and so now. It's just been a time to work, like honestly,
sure.
and just like a time for planning. With being in grad school, I'm getting my master's in journalism at CUNY. So with being in grad school, I've definitely had to be strategic with when I plan and when I coordinate events. So I had an event in October for Mental Illness Awareness Week with a panel of like Black and brown therapists. And it was a great event, but I was very stressed. So I said I would never plan an event again while school was in session.
Right.
So I'm just really going to take this next month and a half that I have just to get the ball, in gear and just planning out the rest of 2020. But what's next? There's definitely going to be a lot of video content. I definitely want for Black women and Black men to understand like what we do and what this is for, and to just understand the level of transparency that we have in events, like making that impact on social media as well. And so having Black men talk about therapy, talk about, trauma, talk about healing, talk about, all the things that they didn't learn, growing up about what it is to be a man and like the expectations. And so I'm really excited about the video content and everything that I'm working on. So of course, building a team, recruiting more Black men to, let me know their input and join on. And, so I would say that's about it. Just, the event that I'm planning for the spring is going to be a really big event. It'll be the biggest event that we've had so far. So it's, going to take a lot of work. And so that's the main focus for over the break. So I will not be getting a lot of sleep. But I'm excited. I'm really excited for 2020 and for everything transparent and Black.
Speaking of events, actually, when we were on the e-board for Black student for the Black Student Union, you started the Don't Touch My Hair event.
I did.
That was like shit. Like, yo, that event was like huge.
Yeah,
and that was like it's crazy because that was like that was like the event that like took us to like the next level.
Yeah.
And, like, grew our student body.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And like, did you know that you was going to be here?
Nah. And again, so even
just a couple years after.
Nah, not at all. And so even in that, like, I remember my first event for Transparent Black Girl. I was like, you done an event before? Like, this is just another VSU event. Like, you got this. Like, it's good. Like, like, don't stress. So I tried to, like, remind myself of that, like, this wasn't the first time that I did that. And I remember even at the first Don't Touch My Hair, because remember we had a really small Don't Touch My Hair in the beginning, and then we had a really big one the spring semester. And so,
Jesse's
exactly.
table.
So, we got Miss Jesse's as a sponsor. So, like, I'm like, so even when I was, like, securing sponsors for my new event, I was like, girl, you've been securing sponsors for a long time. Like, you got this. Like, don't worry. And so I remember the first event, somebody came up to me afterwards. I think it was Charles, like Charles the dancer.
Right.
And he was like, are you like a broadcast, like journalism major? Like you would like really do well and stuff like this. And I was like, what? I was like, no, like I'm pre-law. Like, no. Right. Like playing the seat. I was like, boy, no, I'm pre-law. Like, I'm never going to be doing nothing like this. This is just for Black Student Union. So to be in this space, it's definitely, like hindsight is definitely 2020.
For sure.
And I think that everything that we experience, good, bad, and indifferent prepares you. So Montclair State definitely prepared me to run a business. Definitely prepared me to understand the late hours, the sacrifices, the importance of building a team and what that looks like and the structure. It definitely prepared me, but I did not anticipate any of this at all. But I'm grateful now, just for everything that, student government and college that it teaches you. And like when you in it feels difficult, and the responsibility, and you're tired, and you learn how to balance. But that's what the real world is balancing all the other shit you got going on while you still have to be present in this space.
And then you graduate and you look back and you're like, what the fuck was I stressed about?
Exactly. You thought that was stress, then you get hit with the real stress out here, and you realize that, like you said, that wasn't nothing compared to the
literally not shit
to the real stuff you got going on. But it definitely did prepare me, and it made me also understand that like I could do this, and that I already did it. And so I realized like, okay, if I created that space, and with the help of the people that I had, because even with that I definitely had a lot of help. Chanel was extremely helpful. Someone that we went to college with, and like just the team in general, the sponsors. But so I think it was, like you said, like it was definitely preparation. And so I'm glad that I had that as a mark to make mistakes, to, understand what was needed, and to like see what it literally is like to build out something and fight for it. Cause we definitely had to do a lot of, fighting for things for a lot of things that we wanted, between the name change and, everything that we experience. But I'm super grateful for student government and the things that I learned there, and to even have like people from MSU to be at my events. Like that's such a crazy thing, like to have so many people from MSU. Like at every event that I've had somebody from MSU come and show up that I didn't anticipate coming. So they still show me so much love.
To your work.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you for sitting down with me today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate
you. How about you plug your social media?
So you can follow me at Meant to Be Yasmine on all social media platforms, and you can follow Transparent Black Girl and Transparent Black Guy on all social media followings as well. Just how it sounds.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at Mike History. Follow me on Instagram at Last Name History. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Versus Mike History. And that is all. We are out.